We're creating and presenting this work on Black land, the unceded lands of the Gadigal. Sovereignty was never ceded, and it always will be Aboriginal land. As a team, we are making a small contribution to the long history of caring for, holding and sharing story on this land and nations across the continent. We pay our respects to the elders that have cared for land, water, air and community to this point, and the elders who continue that work today. We recognise the ancestors and histories that are with us in this process, from the many nations represented in our team.
Hey, today's episode is Peng Insecure Girls. We're looking at a study of Annie's lockdown hit song, Peng Black Girls, and we might just talk a little bit about the queen herself, Issa Rae, and her just-ended series Insecure. We'll be discussing the very black art of taking people with you and inviting them to the table. But colorism might just hit the conversation hard. And we do know that colorism is a huge theme in the play 7 Methods of Killing Kylie Jenner, but so is the question of how we as black women relate to and with and around each other in private and in public, in the work and social spaces. So if you have time, go check out the song Peng Black Girls by Annie featuring Amia Brave, and check out the remix as well, which featured Georgia Smith. Read up about it so that as we talk in this episode, you feel and know where you stand if there are sides to be taken. All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen and everybody else and everyone. Hi. So it's Effie here from 7 Methods of Killing Kylie Jenner. And today I have 2 of my favorite people in the world. We're so blessed to have them. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a second. But we are talking today about Peng Black Girls. You have to say it like that though. Peng Black Girls, not Peng Black Girls. It's very different. It's a song by Annie. The original is Annie featuring Amia Brave, and the remix has Georgia Smith, the gorgeous. And so we're going to delve into that. But before we go on, what up, ladies? What up, fam?
Hey.
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 What up?
What up? How you
What's
doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? So I'm going to get you to introduce yourselves as I do, because I think it's more organic, natural, better, less formal. So whoever wants to go first.
I was really hoping that you'll start with her.
Oh, okay. So let's start with you. Oh, see what I did?
I'm Gillean Opoku, 1/4 of Fufu and Tibbs podcast.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
How do I top that? We're not in competition. We're not in
Exactly.
competition. Hi, I am Niwa Mburuja. I am also a half, but of 2 Sydney stylists. I am a Tanzanian-born resident of Sydney. Represent. I don't know
We're
where.
doing biography.
Look,
Wow. Okay.
I'm just flowing. I'm
Cool.
flowing.
Cool. It's fun.
I am also a black-skinned woman of African descent.
Amen.
In her 30s and proud. And we're going to talk about why that's a thing later on, I think.
It's definitely a thing to be proud in your 30s.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
thing.
it's definitely a thing.
It's a thing.
It's
That's
a
it. I'm
thing.
done.
No more. Stop now. All right. So as some of you who listened and watched our first episode, we are here because of community engagement on 7 Methods of Killing Kylie Jenner, the amazing play written by Jasmine Lee Jones. You've both seen the play. Basically, this series is us talking about all the art, the music, the poetry, the fashion, the academia, the scholarship and conversation that I feel is related to in conversation with the themes in the play over time. So whether it was written before the play was produced or written or after. And I think it's important because we've spoken about all the tropes in length over the last few years. You know, black culture, cultural appropriation, production, misogynoir, racial gaslighting, like we know now. And I feel like now it's time to like pay homage and talk about the people who've been thinking about these things in front of us for a while. So that's why I chose this song, Annie's Peng Black Girls. There are 2 versions. Have you both heard? You've both heard the song?
I didn't realize there were as in, you said 2 versions.
Yes.
There's a remix.
Yeah, but are the words actually different?
from what I've heard, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I'm not wrong, I mean, I can't rap it off by heart. I don't even get the first line. But I think in the remix, Annie does like, you know, a little bit of different stuff. And then Georgia brings in her own little twist
flair,
as well,
yeah.
even though she keeps Amir Brave's hook.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's the hook for me. Hey, I think I discovered the song through the remix because of Colors, and Colors is a vibe. It's a platform, and Georgia is a darling. So who doesn't just like go with that? And then later on, I discovered the original and the politics.
Politics are real.
The politics of it. But the song is, I love the song. You know when like black women are talking to black women and we're just doing the thing that we do in our everyday lives, which is gas each other up, affirm, validate, you know, just raise the roof for our humanity, basically. Like,
There's
strong.
actually this
It's strong.
other song that I know. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yes.
It's called Glow Up. And I think it's by someone on the continent that sang it.
Okay.
Yeah, her name is Karoon. And it's about like her having like a girl crush on like a girl. Because she just think like it's not like, it's just really like a girl that she admires and that she's amazing. And like when I heard it, I was thought, oh, this song's cute. And then I went to search the lyrics and I was like, oh my gosh, she's actually singing about like another girl and like bigging up the girl. And I thought, oh, this is actually really beautiful because I never hear songs like that.
And I feel like that's something that black girls do so seamlessly these days. I'm saying these days because, you know, I see it, where it's so easy now to see someone and be like, yes, like you look amazing. Hey, like I love your, where did you, and like I feel like we share a lot. And
how do
it's
you reckon
so
we
easy.
arrived to that place? Like, do you think it's been a journey?
I feel like in our context, meaning being in Sydney, Australia, I think it has been. And I definitely think it's been affected or influenced by, you know, just like the general black movement or new African, I would say, movement.
The Renaissance.
Yeah, because I think, and I do think that this is one of the more positive, like, American black cultural influences, like the yes queen, you know. I spent a bit of time in New York and I remember one day so vividly seeing this woman. She had long platinum white braids almost to her, like behind her knees, and she was wearing this black like white lounge suit, like bright white, and she was just walking down Broadway, and like all down the street you could just hear people like, yes queen, you doing it, and she was like soaking it. She was like, thank you, and I was like, I have never like ever like how liberating to tell another woman how great like she looks or sounds or whatever. I think we're really good at that.
I think that's very American though.
True.
I don't feel like British women are necessarily like that.
Even
I'm
like,
not trying to get controversial.
Can I ask, because since you do know England and you've lived there, so in the context of this song, Annie is from Hackney, and there is like that whole sort of bigger social commentary around class and migrancy, and you know, people like Michaela Cole and a few others who've been doing that work of really speaking to the politics of their existence. Do you think it's still the same in that environment, like within the sort of like the estates? Do you think, or like, is that what you saw?
I probably couldn't comment on stuff like the States because that's not my experience. I wasn't living there or anything like that. But in my experience, I just felt like when you meet women, they'll look you up and down before they even want to say hello, like that kind of thing. And probably things have changed, and maybe the circles that I was like, not the circles that I was in, or the people that I saw just didn't engage that way. And like even going to Ghana and stuff like that, like there were, the time that I went, there were a whole bunch of like, you know, foreigners there. And it was very like, who you know, like even though I met the most amazing people, but that was a very select group of amazing women. Very select group. And the rest of them were just not like that. Like they're no new friends kind of people. Like I always say it, like they're actually no new friends kind of people.
You can't sit with us for sure. Like you cannot. That's so, you know, you're just making me think of The first time I saw the song, I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too.
And yeah, just thinking about this, you can't sit with us kind of vibe versus like hyping each other or like being able to sit with each other, like just sit as a whole group of Black women in all our diversity. I think what hit me the most was just that image of her with all the different, I get goosebumps when I think about it. Yeah. Like the clip was just so simple. One of my favorite things is black on black, like, you know, as a color thing. And just seeing all these different shades of Black girls standing together in silence. Tableau is something that I love. So I just was like, and it was, you know, so different to the kind of imagery and tableau you see from like someone like Solange. You know, Cranes in the Sky clip is like visually, it's like Black female bodies and there's color and it's so pretty and like fluid. Shetu's giving and then
it's very curated. It's a very specific aesthetic and we love it. We love it.
Of course.
Woo. But then like seeing this, which was like, it almost felt like that's the everything.
Yeah, but I also felt like there was like a normalcy about that clip.
The ordinariness of it.
Because I saw the clip first before I saw the colours thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, like we actually look like that. Like variations, like and then first I was like, how did you find all that? And then I was like, okay, she's British, so of course she could find all those women. But, I was like, this is normal. Like this is not curated. They're on a field. I can't fully remember the clip, but I remember
it's
that they're on a field.
It's literally like outside the flats, like a bunch of flats.
In like their neighborhood, basically.
Yeah, in their own environment.
And it's like her own people as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And then when I saw the colours thing, I was like,
it's colours.
Yeah, is this colours? And then I saw Georgia Smith and I was like, is this a label thing or is this like promotion? But I didn't actually know about the politics around it. I just thought in my mind that was like, I was like, I wonder who made that decision.
Right. There's a lot around that question. And for me, like, in all honesty, seeing the clip that way and then hearing there was a remix with Georgia, I expected to see the three of them.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Diversity.
Hey. It's the omission, like for me.
Yeah, and it was very blatant.
And look, from what I've heard, and I wasn't across it in real time, so I kind of was like, ooh, I'm curious, what happened? It doesn't seem like it was a bad blood moment.
Yeah,
but it comes back to, as far as I'm concerned, capitalistic consumerism, white supremacist
that's exactly what it is.
Because basically, Georgia is the brand. They're in the same label with any. She's also just the beautiful light-skinned woman.
Yeah.
You know, she's the globally accepted beauty standard. Let's just be real. Like, I think it's really hard to not think about that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And I think the sidelining of Brave, and I'm being inconsistent, Smith and Brave, the sidelining of Brave is revealing. I think it says something. Maybe she's unsigned perhaps, so she doesn't have the clout.
That's right, yeah.
But like, if the song is about one thing, and then by the time it catapults into this moment, it's now like complicit in something else.
I agree. And
you know what I mean? It's just not fair.
I'm pretty sure recently and they performed that.
Yeah.
Maybe at the Brit Awards or somewhere.
Yeah.
And someone else was singing the song.
Okay.
Like the hook.
Yeah.
Which made me think.
So not Georgia and not Brave.
I don't feel like, I could be wrong.
Maybe.
I could stand corrected.
Yeah.
But I feel like it wasn't her. So I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I was like, what's happening?
Did it sound good?
Oh, it was lovely.
Okay.
That slightly unsettles me though.
I could be wrong. Do you know what? Let me Google it to make sure.
That it becomes like this doesn't like belong to anyone.
Yeah, like an anthem that any black
and anyone
woman
can step into.
But if that be the case, and you know, if that's what they're saying, okay, that's fair, that's fine. But let it be known.
And I think that's what it is about this, that there has to be some kind of acknowledgement of what's going on purely because of what it's dealing with and what the song's trying to say. And I feel like it would have been stronger with all three of them, you know.
Yeah.
Like because Amia Brave has such a sweet voice. You know, Georgia's voice is like really like sort of deep and like nice and smooth, but then Amia's got this like, so I was like waiting to hear the three because I'm a huge Georgia fan. I love her music. So I was like, ooh, how do they, like, what would she have done differently? So to hear her singing it was, and this, I want to be really categorical. Like, this is not a conversation about people like we don't actually know and the journey, but sort of what I see repeated in terms of history. There's the idea of, I've read that, we all know prior to Rosa Parks, there was another black woman who was way darker that did the same thing. And I'm intentionally not saying her name because it's not a name that we're even familiar with.
Yeah, it's not in circulation.
And so I feel like, unfortunately, that's like a perpetuation of what we're seeing, like the making it. And I don't know. I don't think it's even about being more palatable in this case. I think it's just a repetition without thinking.
Yeah.
As opposed to an intentional, she's darker, because...
But you know what? And I hate to go down this road because fundamentally I'm big on structural context, the system, and how it feeds into that narrative and perpetuates it. But I can't help but think about, for example, Nina Simone and Zoe Saldana. I think that's her name.
Wow, that was...
I can't help but think about some of the roles that Zendaya has accepted. Yes. So basically, at what point do we kind of come into our own literacy and kind of go, I am occupying a space that maybe I need to like challenge?
Oh my gosh, do you know the other example that comes to mind?
Do you know what I mean though?
Half of the Yellow Sun.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me.
Like when you started that,
Tandy Newton. And I love Tandy. I love Tandy. I love Tandy. Like, I love all of them actually.
And that's what makes it harder.
Not so much. I don't think she's talented.
What makes it harder.
But like, at what point do we kind of go, I get it, like it shouldn't be on them to like, I don't know, harm their careers. But at what point do people just kind of go, look, and I don't know what Georgia thought or felt, or I don't know, can't speak. But at what point do people just go, I don't think this is a good idea. Maybe it should just be,
I think that is one of, this is so good you said that.
And it's a form of protest and it's really powerful.
One of the questions I had when I was writing like the talking through the ideas for this episode was the art of taking people with you. And that's something that both of you do seamlessly with ease every day. You just take people with you. And it's something that I've struggled with a lot in life in terms of, I will never hesitate to be in a room. If I'm called into a room and I know that I might be able to do something, but there's someone else that is their gifting, their area, their passion, their calling, and I'm not going to go, hold on, let me call Gillean because I can do it, but I think Gillean will be better at it. I don't hesitate to do that. But I find that for some reason, I expect other people to probably feel do the same. And I feel like as Black people, because we are not, we are the othered, we've always been othered for at least a good 500 years, we kind of have that level of expectation of each other that like, of course you'll call me into the room. And so when we don't, we're like, tut, how dare you not, like, but then does it show when people don't that they're in a space where it's like, I'm not thinking of myself in the realms of color anymore. I'm thinking of myself as a human being.
Oh, when they transcend. Oh, I can't go that way.
It's a question.
I can't go that way.
And I'm not saying like, should we figure out whether one of them do, but it's like a general question. Like, do you think that's what that might be?
Look, I don't want to assume, which is why I was saying like I don't know Georgia, I don't know what happened.
No, like we're not about them.
Do you know what? I'm also thinking maybe like Georgia throughout her career, she's been questioned about her blackness and whatnot. So she also has seen this as an opportunity for her to be front and center and kind of,
I'm trying to tell you to put the mic back
sorry.
up. Sorry.
So maybe this is kind of like her statement. It's her stance that she's Black as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you know?
Yeah.
Also, we don't know.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of my thinking towards maybe her being a part of it.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like that thing about being Black, like the personal is political. Like everything you do, the spaces that you occupy, especially once you are, someone who's well known, who has a platform, whatever, like you can't just show up and just be your imperfect self. So like that thing about expectations for me also like really rings, because when I think about what's really powerful about this song is like, yeah, that narrative around like you can just be ordinary, like you can just be you, and there is a multiplicity in that. Like black women can just be all the things. We can have hips or not have hips. We can have bridges on our nose or not have bridges on our nose. But also like you can just be your own character. It's not just about the beauty and the physical. It's like, I don't know, like it's because we have so many expectations of ourselves.
Yeah, too many. I'm not gonna lie. What you were just saying before about expectation and bringing other people in the room, I expect that.
Me too.
I really expect that, because I just feel like there's not many of us. So we might as well help each other. And it's so comforting when there's more of us in the room. Like it makes the journey better, and it's lonely up the top.
But scarcity mentality is real.
It actually is.
And Gillean is speaking to the choir in this room.
Yeah, like it's real. I think people are, I feel like if you're someone who can invite others into the room or bring people with you, you are confident in your journey or trajectory, whatever it will look like. It doesn't mean you know what it will look like, but you're saying that I trust that whatever, whoever, however I deal with life will get me to where I need to be. And that's why I'm okay with calling someone else to the table. But if you're not sure, or you're timid, or you're afraid of the powers that be in whatever room you're in, that's when you're gonna go, it's me. It's just me, you know?
I agree with that. But I also think, in my mind, like when I'm calling people into the room, or when I'm letting them know about an opportunity or something like that, it's because in my mind I realize that they probably don't have access to that information. And I just happen to be the one who got access.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm not going to do anything with it because it's not me. So I can't just let the buck stop at me. So I've got to let someone else know who could do something with it. I think that's the kind of thinking that comes to my mind.
Can I add a tangent to that?
Go ahead.
I think being collective people is also something that's modeled in our like childhoods, in our family context, and it's something that many of us have as a privilege of just being raised by certain people. But, and I say that because I really truly believe the way I approach collectivism and collaborative work is so inherent in how I was brought up by my family. But as somebody who grew up here, and in the first 10 years of my life in Sydney, I thrived in being a token. So from the age of 8 to 18, I was so comfortable in always being the only one. I remember from like when I started in a corporate job, I was like, I was in accounting, whatever. There was this guy, he was Kenyan, he was from Japan. And people would just be like, oh, do you know, I can't remember his name. Do you know this person? Do you know this person? And I remember how much I hated being grouped and referenced. And I say that it's because, like, in as much as I was brought up in this place, in this home environment, which had really strong values around, we never just lived the five of us. There was always someone else who was living with us. There was always a collective approach. But also just being here and, you know, that like scarcity mindset can really do a number on you. And then I remember that at 19, 20, I like really kind of faced myself and I went, we're doing the complete opposite now. And I like started, it wasn't until my adulthood that I didn't have any black people in my life. Until my 20s. Really? Where like, and then I actively sought out black women friendships, black people. That's when I met Shetu and them. I mean, I was, I think, a little bit older by the time I met you, but I was in that space where I was actively investing in the thing that I want, because societally, it was not going to pan out that way. And I clocked it in myself. And I just want to I want to mention that because I think there's a level of like awareness that comes with that. That not, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily inherent for everyone, especially when we're living in these like marginalized environments. It's like, it's like, yeah, like it's just a lot.
I've been thinking a lot, as I usually do, about what it means to take people with you and invite them to the table. What it means to be brave enough to say, I might be able to do this, but there's someone out there who can do it better. What it means to feel less intimidating by saying there can be 3 or 4 black people in this room and we can all do this amidst the whiteness. I want to know if anyone else wonders where the idea of black more than one black person not being able to be in the same room in corporate spaces, or having difficulty with that process. The idea that perhaps we've internalized a sense of shame about being in a collective, internalize a sense of fear that's associated from whiteness that's imposed on blackness. I don't know, but I do want to know whether and how other people feel about bringing other people into the room and offering a seat at the table. Shout out to Solange and everybody who's used that term in the past. I'm really grateful that I can now say it, and everybody will know exactly what it means.
Thank you for being honest and being able to say that, because I think there are a lot of people who like being the token black person and will never admit it.
Yeah.
Me, for one, can't frickin' stand it. Like, absolutely can't stand it. Like, I remember this job that I had, and the culture really kind of plays into black culture, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just evolved and really played into that. So everybody's on this high horse listening to the kind of music, the kind of fashion, the shoes, all those type of things, right? And I remember when I started, I was like, we're not here to be friends. Because I felt it. Like, I felt like they thought this black girl's coming to start. This, you know, we can all be besties with her, and this is going to be the cool black brand, like the cool black girl in this business. I'm not here for it.
Did you get a commission for it?
Of course not. I'm not here for it, right? But then I can imagine other people would have
thrived,
absolutely loved it, and thrived
and
like,
performed it. Because
and
not
done it
every
well.
black person is black, and like that's something that I'm super intentional about trying to, like, especially in Australia, like what black is honestly is an identity. It is not about the melanin. It's about playing and performing an identity that checks certain boxes. And I feel like that's probably what we're seeing now, is like a push out of that.
Yeah,
a push into other, unfortunately, and alternative ways of what it means to have melanin at high levels.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's time for us, as we build culture, this is a personal feeling, like building a culture that says, like, there's other ways of having being highly melanated.
Yeah, definitely.
And perhaps that's what these two, the remix and the original, has shown us, that you know, we don't, as much as bringing people together with you, at a point you might not always need to journey together. And it'll still, we're gonna be all right. Okay. All right. We're actually at time, because you guys have killed it.
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to give you like a
good.
minute to, like, you know, give us your last thoughts, and then,
Look, if I can just be a little bit of a geek, that video, so the music video for me, like the reason why I also really, really love it is what Arthur Jaffa does, the black gaze, just shows people that ordinary vision of who you are, especially as like, whether it's like African diaspora, whether it's black, it's really powerful, because so much of how we see ourselves is shaped by what we see.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's such a counter narrative. And I just think, really being intentional, like words create imagery as well. Like the song itself is a visual, you know, the video itself is an obvious visual. And I think, having these young ones who are just really doing this in a very active way, is doing a lot for future generations, and heck, us too.
Definitely.
Yeah,
for real.
Here for it.
I think that song spoke to me in the sense of, like, we shouldn't be shy championing other women. We actually shouldn't be shy. There shouldn't be any shame about it. We don't need to do it in secrecy. Like, just do it, right? Because I feel like there are so many things that are up against us, so many things that we're battling. Just to hear it from someone that's like us, that looks like us, that understands those feelings, is something beautiful, right? Like, I will take that over a man giving me a compliment any single day, like any day. Do you know what I mean?
100.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. And I feel like it ties in beautifully with a line in the play. Sorry, spoiler for those who haven't seen it. When Cleo and Kara are at the end of the show, or the experience, and they've seen Sarah, and then she says something along the lines of, I don't need like the romantic, basically she's talking about she doesn't need the romantic validation to feel beautiful. And I think that that's what that, you know, that
that their journey did, you know, the dark skinned and then the mixed you know, light-skinned beauty, that we're like, we love each other so much, we learn from each other, but like we're also both dealing with like navigating this blackness thing, and we don't even like, but at the core, at the base of it is like we both absolutely love each other and want the best for each other. And I feel like, I mean, I know it's happy days, but I feel like so many black women do that for each other now, that I wish it was something that we just grew and like continued like as a marker, because like we need each other.
We definitely
actually need each other. So thank you both so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Low-key emotion, because like, girls. But yeah, thanks. It's been amazing. Everybody, make sure you check out the play, obviously. 7 Methods of Killing Kylie Jenner. We are on till the 20th of February in Sydney. Brisbane will be in March, and later on the year, Melbourne. So please check it out and be Peng.
Be Peng. I think we're Peng.
I think we are.
I'm trying to be Peng. Yeah. I'm learning how to be Peng.
No, you are Peng.
I'm getting Thank you. The 7 Methods IRL series is produced by Effie Nkrumah and Shetu Simone as part of the community engagement strategy for the Australian season of 7 Methods of Killing Kylie Jenner, brought to you by Darlinghurst Theatre Company and Green Door Productions. Filming and editing of the series is by Studio 981 and Blake Constantine. Theme song is produced by Boama Made It.